Hello everyone, welcome to Train Me Buddy. This is Siddharth. In today's video, we'll go through the case 1 statement. So we'll learn how to get value from a column based on the specified condition and defined results. So let's get started with the case 1 statement today. So what will you learn today? We will go through the case statement using two or more conditions, case statement with group by, then case statement with order by. Then we'll go through the real-time use cases for using the case statement. So what is case statement? Case statement goes through the list of defined conditions and returns a value when the first condition is satisfied. So once a condition is true, it will stop reading and return the value based on the defined set of results. The case statement is followed by at least one pair of when and then statement, which is equivalent to if and then in any other programming language. If no conditions are true, then it returns the value in the else clause. Else clause is optional, so if there is no else clause defined in the case statement and no conditions are true, then it will return null value. And finally, every case statement must end with an end clause. Now, what is the syntax of case statement? So case statement is written with the case, when, and then clause. So we need to have case, when, then we need to define the condition 1, then what will be the result if the condition 1 is true. Similarly, we need to have multiple conditions. So we need to have condition 2, condition 3. Similarly, we can have n number of conditions and we can define the n number of results for those specific conditions. And if no conditions are met, then we need to also define the else condition, which will be returning the default value if no conditions defined earlier are matched. However, the else is optional in the case statement. Finally, we need to have the end clause at the end of case statement. So let's understand this using the SQL query. Now let's learn the SQL queries using case statements. So for this, I'll be using MyStoreDB database, which we have used in our earlier sessions. I'll also put the script for this database in the link provided in the description below. So let us use one table employee from this database. So for this, let me have the query as select from employee. And here, let me get some columns from the employee table. So let's have employee ID, employee first name, employee last name. Then let me have salary and let me execute this query. Okay, so this is getting us the employee ID, first name, last name, and salary from the employee table. So let's say I want to categorize the employees based on the salary range. So for this, let me use the case 1 statement. So let's have the case statement as case, and then we can have when. Let me take this down. So case when, then let's have the condition as salary greater than equal to. So let me take a range. So let me have 45,000. So I can copy paste this. Then let me have a category defined here. So let's say salary greater than and equal to 45K. Then let me have the else condition, else salary below 45K. And you need to have the end clause here. And you can have an alias for this column. So let us call it as salary category. So let me execute this query. And here you can see that the salary category column is coming with the defined conditions. So here, as we have defined, if the salary is greater than equal to 45,000, then we need to have the category as salary greater than and equal to 45K. So as you see here, the first row is having more than 45,000 salary. So it is having the salary category as salary greater than and equal to 45K. Similarly, if there is a salary below, so here the third row, fourth row are having below 45K. So the category is defined as salary below 45K. So similarly, we can have multiple conditions. So let us split this case one statement into some more conditions. So let's have another condition. So we can have another when here. When salary, let me copy this. And let's say I'll remove this equal to from the first condition, and let me change this category. So the first condition will be if the salary is greater than 45,000, it will have the category as salary greater than 45K. Then second one, let me have as equal to 45,000. Then we can have salary equal to 45K. Otherwise, it will be showing the salaries below 45K. Let us execute this query again. And you can see that there are three different categories showing over here. So if we go to this first row, it is having salary greater than 45K, and whatever is below 45K, it is showing as below 45K. And let's see, equal to 45K. So the eighth record is having salary equal to 45K. So this is how you can use the case one statement to categorize the values based on certain conditions and based on the defined results. Now let us see another example. So let me just remove this case one statement. So let me add another column from employee table. So let me have salary type, and let's execute this query to see the data. And here we have the salary types as M and W. So let's say I want to convert this salary type M to monthly and W to weekly. Then we can have the case one statement as, let me write the case one after the salary type. So let me have case, then when. So let me have the condition salary type equal to M, then monthly. Then we can have the another condition. So let me copy paste this, and we can define the another condition as salary type equal to W, and this can be defined as the weekly. And we need to have the, let me hide the result set so that it will be visible. So let's have else will show whatever it is there with the salary type original value. Then we can have the end, and let me have as, then let's have salary type description, and let me execute this query. And now you see that it is showing the salary type description as monthly for M and weekly for W as the salary type. So now let's have another example for the case one statement using calculations. So I have a requirement to get the salary divided by 4 if the salary type is W or weekly. Otherwise, we are not going to perform any calculation on the salary. Okay, so for that, let me modify this query a little bit. So let me take the same query, and I'll just remove this one, and let's say case when. Then let me put the weekly first, and let's have the condition as salary type equal to W. Then I'll be taking the salary divided by 4. And we know that there are two types of salary type, W and M. So we can remove this explicit condition for monthly, and I can put it as else. So in the else, I'll just put the salary. So now the case one statement should be calculating the salary value divided by 4 when the salary type is W. Otherwise, it will not do any calculation. So let me execute this query and check the data. So I'm keeping the salary column, and let me change the column alias as, let's say, net salary, and execute again. Let me also have the salary type next to it so that you can understand easily. So let me execute this query, and as you see here, the salary has been divided by 4 when there is a weekly salary. So you can observe that in these two rows, right? So this is how you can perform the calculation using the case when statement. We can also use the case when statement with the group by. So for that, let's have one example. So let's say we need to get the number of employees based on the salary type, weekly or monthly. So for that, let me take the earlier query and modify a little bit. So let's have only the case statement, and let me just see first by using the execute. So we have different monthly and weekly as the salary type description. So let me take the same case statement in a group by. So we can have this as group by, and let me have the same case statement, and I can have the count 1 to have the count based on the case 1 statement. And let me execute this query. So now we are having the monthly and weekly salary, two categories. And for these, we are getting the count of employees. So we can have a alias as count of EMP. And let me execute. And here you can see the count of employee based on the salary types. So this is how you can use the group by along with the case statement. We can also use the case statement along with the order by clause. So let's see how to perform that. So for that, I'll be using another table called customers. So for that, let's see the data first. So let's have select star from customer, and let me execute this query. And we have the customer data with the customer detail along with the city and state. So let's say I want to order the customer data based on city and state, and I'll be specifying a condition. So if city is null, then it will order the data by state. Otherwise, it will be ordering the data by city. So for that, I can have the query as order by, and here I can have case when. I'll be having the condition as city is null, then I can take state, else I'll be ordering this by city. And let me have end for it. Okay, so for the better visibility, let me put this when down and let me align it, and let me execute this query now. And as you see here, the customer data has been ordered by either state or city based on the value in the city column. So whenever there is a null in the city column, it is ordering by state. So here it is coming CA, then it is ordering by city. Again, we have a null in the city, so it is ordering the data by the state, and here we are getting NY. Again, it is continuing the ordering by the city column. So because we are having data for the city columns in all other records. So this is how you can use the order by along with the case statement. Now, let's go through a real-time example of using the case when statement. So let's say we have a requirement to get the sales transaction by giving 20% discount to the customer who are employees or 5% to other customers. So for that, I'll be using the customer, sales, and employee table. So first, let me have the query to get the sales and customer information. So I'm getting the data from sales table and joined with the customer table to get the customer information. So let me execute this query. And here I am getting the invoice ID, customer name, sales date, and sales amount from both sales and customer tables. Now, how can I know a sales transaction is made by a customer or an employee? For that, I need to use a join with the employee table and customer table. So let's have left join employee, and I'll be using the alias as E on. So let's say if there is a match by the employee email, then that will be considered as an employee being the customer, otherwise the other customers. So let's have E.email equal to C.email. And let me have the email ID so that we can see which record is having a email. So E.email as, let me have it as employee email, and execute this query. And now you can see that the email is coming for the last two records. That means these two transactions are made by the customers who are employee, and those customers needs to be given with a 20% discount on the sales amount. Otherwise, we are giving 5% discount to the other customers. So how to achieve that using the case when statement? So let's have the case when statement as case when E.email is null, then I'll be giving a 5% discount in the sales amount. So let's have sales amount minus, I'll be giving 5% discount. So for that, I can have the sales amount multiplied by 0.05. That means it is 5%. Let me have another condition. So I can have, let me copy paste and change this to is not null. Then sales amount will be deducted with a discount of 20%. So for that I can have 0.2. Otherwise there is no discount. So for that we can have the else condition. Else I'll be having the actual sales amount here. Then let me have the AND clause and I'll have the alias as, let's say, final amount. And let me execute this query. And as you see here, the discount has been applied to the sales transaction based on the conditions we have defined here. So if the employee email is null, that means it is a regular or other customers. So for that, we are having the discount of 5%. So 5% discount has been applied here. Otherwise, if this transaction is made by the employees, then the discount for this is 20%. So this is how we can use the case when statement in a real-time situation. Now let us see another example of using the case when statement. So let's say we want to add bonus for the employees based on the department they belong to. So for this, I'll be using two tables, employee and department. So let's see the data for employee table, and we have all this information, but I'll be using the salary column for calculating the bonus. And we have a column department ID. Let's get the description of the department or department name from the department table to get the executive, finance, human resources, marketing, and purchasing department name. And accordingly, we'll be applying the conditions. So let's have the query. So let me use this query where we are joining the employee table with the department and getting the employee and department information. And let me execute this query. So here we are getting the employee ID, first name, last name, department name, and salary. So let's see how we are going to calculate the bonus using the department name. So for this, let's have the query as is when, let me take the department name. So d.department name equal to say executive. So if the department name is executive, then I'll be adding 10% of the salary as the bonus. So let's have salary. So 10% can be calculated as into 0.1. So similarly, let me have the other departments. So I'll be copy pasting these lines. So let me copy paste. So we can have finance as the next department. And for this, we need to provide 8%. So we can have 0.08 multiplied by the salary. Similarly, let's have another condition, human resources. Then we'll be providing 5% for the human resources. Similarly, I'll be copy pasting the other line for marketing and we'll be providing 4% bonus for the marketing folks. And let me take another condition for purchasing and I'll be providing 3% bonus for the purchasing. So optionally you can have else. So let's have else. So there is no bonus. So let's say we'll be only having the salary of the employee. And let me have it and I'll be putting an alias as bonus. And let me execute this query. And as you see here, the bonus has been applied to the salaries. And here, as you see, the department name is finance and salary is 40,000. So it is applied with the 8% of the salary as the bonus. Similarly, for the executive department, it is calculated the bonus with the 10% of the actual salary as the bonus. So here we have 5 departments. So we are calculating the bonus for 5 departments. Let's say I don't want to mention the purchasing explicitly. So I can just comment this and let's say we want to have this as part of the else. Then we can have the else with the calculation for 3%. So it is up to you how the requirement is in your project. So let me execute this query. And now it is doing the calculation for the department purchasing with the 3% of the bonus. So as you see here, the 3% of the 30,000 is 900. So similarly, you can use the case statement in your real-time projects. I hope this tutorial is helpful for you. I have kept all the queries used in this tutorial in the link provided in the description below. Please keep watching and subscribe the channel Train Me Buddy and hit on the bell icon so that you will be notified about the upcoming and new videos. Also, if you have any doubts or suggestions, please feel free to put it on the comment below. Thank you.